Hey gang, what's going on? Welcome to Talking Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host KA and welcome back. This is going to be part two or day two of our trip report that Jay and I had recorded, and some fun stuff on today's show. So make sure to stick around. But before we go ahead and get started, make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and punch that notification tab so you can get up-to-date information when we drop new episodes. And if you're on social media, you can follow me at Facebook and Twitter, and also on Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are Vegas, Talking with Vegas All Day with KA. And my Twitter handle is Vegas_KA. Also, check us out on any of the major podcasting platforms. I sometimes drop bonus episodes here and there. And look for a couple of bonus episodes coming up in a couple weeks here as we have some time to record. But won't keep you waiting. Let's go ahead and get started. On today's episode of Talking Vegas All Day with KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now,
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night.
up in the
Let's go to Vegas.
So we are back for our second day review. And JA and I are sitting here right now watching the NFL draft, which ironically is in
Vegas.
So in fact, she was commenting to me how she was like, "Oh, I know this place, and oh, I know that place," and we both were watching TV earlier today, and we're like, "Oh, they're at Beer Park."
Yep.
So yeah, we're just hanging out here watching this, and we thought we'd record a little bit more. And now we had some time today, so let's talk about our second day. So we check out the Mirage, and that morning we kind of slept in a little bit and relaxed. We had a long night. And we then, I'm trying to think, we got our car and we got Starbucks,
Yeah.
checked out. And then we ended up deciding to go to one of my favorite places, Red Rock. Had a great time, went out by Summerlin. I really like Summerlin.
Mhm.
It's a place that, not saying we ever will, but if I lived in Vegas, I would live in Summerlin. What do you think about Summerlin?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a nice area.
It is a nice area. They have a lot of good restaurants and shops. And anytime I used to spend a lot of time out there, a little bit more than I do now, I always tend to enjoy it. Then next we drove around, kind of showed you where Blue Diamond was, out past a couple of the hiking spots. And then we turned around and decided to head to Oak Creek, which is right outside of the reserve. And
Yeah, because we couldn't get into the actual, like, we wanted to do the scenic loop and all that for Red Rock, and you had to have a reservation. It was packed.
So that was kind of a bummer, but we made the most of it. We hiked around
Calico Basin.
went down the Calico Basin.
Mhm.
I hadn't been down there yet, so we went down there, hiked up on some rocks, had some really nice pictures we took. It was a fun time, good crowd. It was pretty packed for a weekend now, obviously being Easter weekend, but Red Rock's probably one of my favorite areas to go to, but not necessarily the park, although there's a couple trails I want to go to. I really just like the whole area in the region there. There's so many good spots out there to hike. So if you are going out, make sure you do have a reservation, especially on crowded weekends like the draft weekend this weekend. Make sure you have that. So then after that, we went to one of the places on your list. We went to the
Matcha Cafe, Maiko.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a matcha cafe. And I've been meaning to go there because I happened to I saw something on TikTok actually about it at one point. And I love matcha. I always make iced matcha lattes, and I like matcha ice cream and all that. So we finally made it there, and I was pretty much in heaven.
Yes, you were.
I mean, first of all, it's in an old strip mall that's got all kinds of like Asian restaurants, different things. There's like Mongolian, there's Japanese, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, I mean, highly recommend. I had a matcha crepe cake and it was really good. And you can get like obviously matcha lattes and I got like a matcha float. It had, it was a matcha latte, like iced matcha latte with matcha vanilla ice cream on top. It was
you
phenomenal.
were matchaing out.
I was, and I loved it. I will definitely go back.
So honestly, I know you were a little higher on this one. And it just happened that we were going that way. I overall I thought it was very nice, and I'd like to go back there and explore some of those other restaurants because I was looking at some of them and what's around there. There's some stuff around there that I'm really excited about. There's some good pho places. There's some really other good like just
We
dim
love
sum and a few others. And there's Las Vegas right there, huh? Look, it's a strip.
Yeah.
So we've seen it a million times over the last couple of days. But so we left there and then we went and checked in at one of our favorite places, the D. Having said that, just one of the things, I know we were going to talk about Resorts World and some of the other trips a little bit more in depth. What would you say? Would you still say that the D is still one of the best places for us?
Yeah, I mean, we always have a great experience there. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking about that today. Like, is D still the best place for us? Because, we've stayed at a lot of these places now, but it's still one of my favorite places. I think location, value, price, rooms are comfortable, and it's really easy access to Fremont, easy access to get around town. I like it. And so we checked in, had a good time, just kind of hung out. I went down toward Bar Canada a little bit.
Yeah, Bar Canada kind of became our hangout.
And we'll talk more about Bar Canada later, but it did kind of on this trip. But we walked around, bopped around, went to our favorite brewery in Las Vegas, well, at least mine, Banger, which, and they have really yummy pastry bourbon style on tap and enjoyed that thoroughly. And then by that time, it was
time for dinner.
It was time for dinner, so we went back, got dressed, and went up to our one of our favorite steakhouses. I know everybody says Barry's is great, and Andiamo's is great. Hugo's Cellar, which we want to try out. I do want to try Barry's. I love Oscars.
I love Oscars too.
It's not because our cat is named after Mayor Goodman. And yes, I did put in a request, but he was not there that day. I would still like to meet Oscar, but I think it's the view, although now with the stage there, it kind of blocks the view of downtown, like looking down through. But it's still just a really nice area, a lot of history behind that with the Union Plaza. That Spacemont was Union Plaza. It's a really old school. I know they all do well, but I just love the food there. I've never had a bad meal there, and I don't feel for the price. You get good service, good quality food, and you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and honestly, that is the place that actually got me to like Brussels sprouts. Those crispy Brussels sprouts they have as an after, like they're good.
Amazing. They are good.
Yeah.
So we went, ate, had a great meal, and we kind of walked around. Went into Circa real briefly, and then we went down, got changed, and drove down the strip, dropped the car off, and walked over to the Cosmopolitan, and we
saw the Killers at the Chelsea.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that show a little bit more too later on. We're gonna drop with this one. I'm gonna drop a few special episodes where we just talk about certain things, but one of the things I really liked about the Chelsea was it was a really nice venue, not bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
Very intimate, had a nice bar. You could kind of sit down if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's like 3,000, or so people in it.
And in our area, there's a lot of nice concert venues. I really like this venue.
Yeah.
I thought 100% it was a very nice venue. The other thing I liked about it, you could see the stage. It was a good crowd, good energy. You've known the Killers longer than I have, and we'll talk about that later, but I was really impressed with how they performed live. And, it was one of those things we booked the trip they're playing again in August. We booked tickets. And so we were like, well, we'll go see them now, and then we'll play August by year. Well, I kind of want to see them in a big venue again now, too, because I just feel like they really put on a good show overall. What did you think about the venue?
I thought the venue was really cool. Yeah, so we ended up doing the standing room in the gallery, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, to be honest, but yeah, like we actually had a good view, except for every time people stood up, then I couldn't see the stage. People in the seats,
Right.
looking down. But so like when it was their big hits, everyone started standing up and blocking the view. But other than that, honestly, the crowd was great. Can't say enough about the Killers, in their hometown. I mean, that's the first time I've seen them in it. I was enjoying every minute of it. And seeing them in my favorite, hotel and casino, the Cosmo. I love the Cosmo. That was just like, incredible. But yeah, I mean, everything about it was great, and I highly recommend seeing the Killers, if you ever have the chance.
Yeah, and that was a really, really lot of fun. So then from there we went back downtown, and we decided to go look for some food, and we found some over at Saginaw Deli. I don't know if we needed to eat that much at that night.
It was a lot of food, but it was really good.
It was really good. It was really good. I'd eat there again, maybe a little smaller portions. But the food was quality. I really liked the onion rack. My sandwich was excellent as well. What did you think of Saginaw Deli?
Yeah, I mean, service was good. I mean, it was like 1 a.m. and there was like 2 other people there, but it was, the food was great, and like I said, yeah, it was probably more food than I needed at that point, but oh well. It was delicious.
And then we walked around. We looked for Mr. Whiskers, but Mr. Whiskers is no longer. So they took down Oh My God Kittens.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a novelty slot game. They have Oh My God Puppies too, but we had fun with it the one time a few trips back. So
We're
unfortunately,
kind of cat people, and we're like, oh, OMG kittens, hey, let's play this one. So we were all about seeing that one again, but alas.
and that's what happens. They update Movie Machines. So then
that's okay, because Kitty Glitter was good to me.
yes, it was. So then you kind of decided to head back. I think. Did you head back?
I think I did then at one point. Yeah.
I think you headed back, and I kind of went and did some snooping. So to wrap up today's show, I kind of then went in and checked out Whiskey Liquor Uppers, even though it wasn't open. I checked that place out a little bit, and then I looked at, I just wanted to check out some of the things they did with Binion's and over at Fremont. So I just kind of was walking around doing some crowd and hotel snooping, and to be quite honest with you, I really like kind of some of those things they were doing with Binion's. They've updated some areas, kind of making it look a little nicer, and then I also thought they did a nice job with certain areas of Fremont. So I am interested to see what they do with the construction part of that new area there. But then we had to bed, and that was a wrap on day 2. But yeah, it was a really good second day.
It was great.
It was. So that's all the time we have for today, gang. So we will see you back here next time on Talking Vegas All Day with me, K.A.